Okay guys, we're going to do some fun stuff with some fonts. System fonts specifically. In your Inkscape, all these fonts that are listed over here are your system fonts. Your machine comes with many different system fonts. If you have a Windows system, a lot of those fonts are free to use for personal use, not free to use for commercial use. So be careful there. And that's even the case, at least to some degree, on Linux. I'm sure that's probably that way on Mac. To get fonts that you can use for commercial purposes and they're free, I've got 3 different websites listed here: dafont.com, fontspace.com, and 1001freefonts.com. And you just have to look down. Some of these say free for personal use. That means please don't use those in a commercial application that you're going to make money off of. Demo, same case. Free, that one says free. That means you could use that one. Actually, I kind of like that one. So that's 1001 fonts. This is FontSpace. With FontSpace, this one's nice because you can click this box that says commercial use, and it'll only show you fonts that are 100% free, and then you won't have to worry about mixing it up with a free for personal use. Dafont.com. This one here is the same way, free for personal use. Be careful there. Don't use those. Free for personal use. So we're going to have some fun with fonts. So I'm kind of breaking this video down into 3 parts. First part is going to be text to path. If you want to make a text that curves in a certain way or is printed around a circular motion, that sort of thing. Part 2 is going to be creating shadow and highlights. That's going to take the longest amount of time. I'm going to do a short word on that one just to show you how it works. Part 3, difficult fonts. A font like you're seeing here is, I would consider that a simple font. It breaks apart pretty easily. Oftentimes not any errors, but if it does, it's easy to fix. And then I'm going to show you something more difficult. Might do something like that. I haven't picked one out yet, so we'll just have a look around. That would probably be difficult. I might save that one for a different video, honestly. That one's interesting. So we'll go back to the original that I had here, which is that one. So first one we'll do is we'll do something that a lot of people are doing right now. Let's do a Merry Christmas. Make it a little smaller. I have a 5x7 default setting here. Let's make it a little bigger. Okay, I like that. I'm going to move it inside. Okay, I like that. The first thing you want to do is to create your path. Under view, I'm going to do page grid so I can make sure I get this pretty close to the same area. And I do have snap on for this case. Go on the same line down here on the bottom, which is right about there. Make that line. Select your node selection tool, and we're going to select the middle one and select this one, which makes selected nodes symmetric, and that'll give it a nice little curve. I'm going to move it down just a hair. I'm going to spread these out. You see what happens when you spread them out. I'm going to spread those out just a little bit. Go back to the main selection tool. This is already highlighted. I'm going to push the shift button and then highlight Christmas. Merry Christmas. Under text, put on path. It's that simple. It's the simplest one. I've used a lot of graphical programs, and really this is one of the easiest ones. So if you want to delete that line, you'll notice that it goes straight back. But I'm going to Control Z to get it back. Highlight the words, select path, object to path. Now it is not dictated by the line. You can delete it, or you can keep the line there as part of your decoration. I'm going to turn snap off at this point and move that line down. In fact, I'm going to hit Control D for duplicate. Duplicate that line and put me another one right up above it. Try to keep it on the same lines, grid-wise. I like that. Let's go back to our wording, because now we need to break apart. Go Inkstitch, Fill Tools, Break Apart Objects. I like doing these simple words with simple break apart. Usually works pretty good. And just like that, we're already going to go to Troubleshoot Objects. All shapes are valid. This will stitch that quick and easily. This will stitch. And then I could select the whole thing, move that up, and then if I have a nice little Christmas scene down here, Merry Christmas is looped around nicely. Excellent, excellent. Okay, do the same thing. Let's make a different one. Valentine's Day. We'll take this down to about 65. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to move that up. I'm going to create a circle this time. And there's my circle. I'm going to select the selector. Push Shift so that you can multiple select. And text, put on path. Don't worry about that it's upside down. Because we can hit it twice, spin it around. Okay, let's go ahead and object path. And then we can get rid of our circle. It's no longer dominated by that circular path. Now we can turn it around. We've already done object to path, so we're going to fill tools on simple wording, simple fill, simple break apart, hit close, extensions, Inkstitch, troubleshoot objects. All shapes are valid. I'm going to back up until I have my circular circle again. Now with this circle, I backed up to where I don't have the wording is not on a path. The wording is on this circle. And you can, I have to back up a little bit more. Okay, we'll go from there. Push Shift, highlight them both, text, put on path, and I'm going to only select the circle, and you can actually adjust your circle size and it will continue to follow. You can flip your circle, which will put it on the inside, and then highlight the words. Just play around with all kinds of stuff. Anyway, that's that. So we're going to move on to part 2, shadow and highlights. This one's interesting. Shadow and highlights. I'm going to make a simple word with some simple fonts. I'm just going to say hello. Selector. Go ahead and do path, object to path. Go ahead and do Inkstitch, fill tools, break apart. Hit apply. Now, let's start with something that is valid to make sure it's valid. We are good. So, I'm going to go to our objects. Bottom one's going to be the H. That's the way we want it. I'm going to zoom in. And I'm also going to turn off my grid. Turn off my notifications as well. Okay, I'm going to turn off my page grid. For shadow, it's a little tricky. The H is on the bottom. We're going to move it to the top. Hit this button right here one time and it puts it on the top. I'm going to hit Control D twice, so I have 3 of them. 1, 2. Now I have 3 H's. Take that topmost H and pull it away. And then on the second one, I'm going to, nope, that's the first one. On the second one, I'm going to unsee it so that now I'm working with the third one. I don't want the second one to move. I am going to select a, yep. Okay, now I'm on my selected third one, and I'm going to hit my desired shadow color. Move that off just a little bit, and then make your second one visible again. I'm going to select the second one. I'm going to push the shift button and select the third one. Path, difference. Now, let's put this H back over the top. When I was doing this in practice, it would not work unless I did a break apart on my shadow. I'm not sure why. Let's see if it does it this time. Yes. Okay. So we'll just do that every time, I guess. I'm going to zoom in. Control, button, mouse wheel, zoom in. Push the control button and click the shadow. We'll select only the shadow path. Now on that selection, we're going to break apart. Okay, now we're going to, just for giggles, we're going to troubleshoot. All shapes are valid. So when you do it, when you're doing a shadow, you need to troubleshoot that, or no, you need to break apart that shadow. Not sure why. So let's go in here and select the E. Again, we're going to move it to the top. All this moving to the top will make more sense shortly. That just makes it easier to see what you're doing. So Control D twice. 1, 2. So we have 3 E's. Move one of them off. That's the top one. The second one I'm going to unsee. And the third one we're going to turn into a shadow. Move it off a little bit. Now let's re-see the E. And second one, push shift button. Third one, both of those are selected. Path, difference. Now put your E on standby, back in, and put it where you want it. Now that we're zoomed in, I'm going to control click that shadow and hit extensions, Inkstitch, fill tools, break apart, and close. I'm not going to do another troubleshoot objects until we're done. Alright, now the L, move it to the top, Control D twice. We should have 3. Move the top one away. There's the second one, unsee it. Third one, shadow color, move it off. Re-see that one. Select your second one first. Push shift button. Select third. Path. Difference. Put your first L back in place. Zoom in to make placement easier. And while we're zoomed in, select that shadow object. Oops, I missed. Inkstitch, fill tools, break apart. Hit apply. Close. Okay. Do it again. That L to the top. Control D. Control D. Move away. Second one. Unsee. Third one. Shadow. Offset. re-see, click that second one, hold the shift button, click the third one, path, difference, move that back in place, scroll in, put it in a good spot. While we're zoomed in, highlight that or select that shadow, Inkstitch, fill tools, break apart. Close, scroll out. This one's left, move to the top, Control D, move away. Second one, unsee. Third one, shadow color, offset. Second one, see it. With the second one highlighted, push the shift button, select the third one, path, difference, move that back in place. Scroll in. I actually got it in place, I believe. So highlight that shadow color, Inkstitch, fill tools, break apart. Hit apply. Close. Good. Now let's do troubleshoot, see if we have any issues. All shapes are valid. Excellent. Now, what I want to do is Control select that H, move it to the top. This will make sense in a minute. Control select the black E, main letter E, move to the top. I did move that one, right? Okay. Select the L, move to the top. Select that L, move to the top. Select that O, move to the top. Now, all of my black letterings are right here. And then I'm going to push the shift button with the top one where it is, push the shift button and select this path, and it will select everything in between. Now what I want to do is group. And everything else is a shadow. So I'm going to take everything else, the same thing. I clicked the top one, scroll down, hold the shift button, click the bottom one. You have selected everything. I'm going to group that one. Now here's why I'm doing that. First of all, it puts all of the black into one section. It puts all of the gray shadow into one section. But wait, there's more. What I'm going to do, this one right here, this one's my shadow, right? And if you're not sure which one's your shadow, just hit the see it and not see it button. So this is my main black lettering. I'm going to duplicate that. So now I have another layer on top. This is going to be neat. Fill and stroke. Fill off, stroke on. And then I selected a nice pretty blue. You could do a nice pretty green. Ooh, I like the green. Neon looking. All right. Yeah, we're going to do that green. I like that. So now we have not only shadows, but we have a highlight color. So what I'm going to do now is go back to objects on the second one, which is my main lettering. I'm going to go to fill, hit fill, and I'm going to specify a color. And it could be any color you want. I want a little bit of, well, okay, I'll take that back. Not necessarily any color you want, because you have your embroidery machine color palettes down here. So if I wanted to keep it to my embroidery machine color palette, what I can do is I can grab, let's grab that violet. I'm going to drag it right over here to the fill box. And I can do the same thing to make sure it's, a color that my machine understands. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to grab this bright yellow and put it in the stroke selection. That ain't bright enough. I want something bright. How about that? Put it in the stroke section. Yeah, I guess that works. And I might, okay, let's go in here and make our stroke a little bigger. Yeah, we like that. So now we have shadow, highlights, That E is not offset enough, is it? Yeah. You'll have to work with it and figure out where you need everything to be to do what you want to do. But I basically showed you how. And it's a lot of that is the stroke style. I'm covering it up. So let's take some of that back away. Objects. That second one, fill in stroke. Let's move that back down. Okay. Yeah. So now that we've done that, let's do a real quick troubleshoot. All shapes are valid. I want to see this stitch. Make sure, one of the things you want to make sure is that you have the least number of color changes possible. Because then it can just become a pain. So I only have 3 colors, and all 3 colors, I only have the 3 color changes. Let's speed this up. You want the shadow to render first, definitely. And then you want your highlight around the edges, you want that to do last. So that looks pretty good. And you could go into parameters and you could make it do, okay, I will. I hear you. I'm going to go into my second one, which is the main, and go to extensions, Inkstitch, parameters. I'm going to make that stitch a little bit tighter. More stitches. Hit apply. And then with nothing highlighted, let's simulate that one more time. Sorry, I can't speed this part up. Okay, let's see if I didn't check the number of, but yeah, that's better. That violet is denser. That's what I wanted. You could do the same thing with the yellow. You could actually tell the yellow to repeat, and that would make a nice bold yellow outline stitch. Okay, we're done with that one. Let's go to part 3. The one I've been dreading. Not really. I'm hoping that the break apart gives me a couple errors to show you how to fix them. Okay. I want to do, how about happy birthday? That should be complicated enough. And text, bring it down some. That puts us inside our 5x7. And now, what does that look like? That's not bad. Yeah, okay, I'm going to do that one. That one should give me a little bit of issues. So go ahead and do object path. So now it's set. And then extensions, Inkstitch, fill tools, break apart objects. Let's see what happens. Yes. But actually that's what I wanted to happen. Because I need to show you how to fix this. And that is going to be a pain. So what you want to do, scroll into one of the issue ones. The H, the P, P, and the B. That looks like the only ones that mangled. Okay. I'm going to hit Control. Click this B. Because, and I'm also going to bring up my objects layer. You need to break this apart again. So Inkstitch, fill tools, break apart. And it didn't do it, so let's do the Inkscape break apart. That's what we wanted. See all these little pieces in here. That's what you want, honestly. So the bottom one, the top one is always the base. And I'm going to go ahead and move that down. I hit all the way down because it happens to be the first letter we're working with. And then I'm going to show you what we're dealing with. Visual representation. So if I select the next one up and hit white, you'll see that little piece open up. It's actually white. You want it to not be there. So we're going to do sort of the same thing we were doing with the shadow. And we're going to highlight that and then push shift, select the base, path, difference. Now, I'm going to do the rest of them without turning it white. You don't have to turn it white. This path, push shift, the base, path, difference. See, it opened right up. Top one, or the next one, just click it. Don't push shift, just click it. Now push shift to highlight both of them, path, difference. Same thing with this one. Push shift, click, path, difference. Click, shift click, path, difference. Is that it? One more. Okay. Shift click, path, difference. And okay, again, path, difference. And that should be it. Yep, that's it. Okay, so now we're going to do the P. Same thing happened. Path, break apart. Now we have that little centerpiece. Remember, your base is above. After it does this break apart, your base is above. See, it's above. I'm going to hit down one on that base. So now my base is below. Select the above offending piece. Shift click, path, difference. Next, same thing. Break apart. Same thing. The top one is the base. Move it down one. Select your offending piece. Shift click, path, difference. Okay, we're getting there. We're almost there. Path, break apart. Again, we have a whole bunch of objects. So what we're going to do is, before you click anything, make sure you know path 1513 is your base. You want path 1513 to be under 1619. So click 1513, move it down however many number of times it takes to be underneath 1613. Okay, now that it's the lowest position of that piece, now you can just do the same thing. Click the one above it, shift click, path, difference. Click, 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 shift click, path, difference. And that's it. So scroll out. It looks good. Let's see what troubleshoot gives us. It's going to give us small fill complaints, and that's it. That will not keep your piece from stitching. You can either make these bigger, delete them, or just ignore it altogether. So make sure you delete your troubleshoot layer, and we're going to see what it looks like. We'll speed this up a little bit. That's what happens when you try to work with a real complicated looking font. Sometimes the break apart doesn't keep your holes, but I just showed you how to get your holes back. But that's all 3 parts of this video. I hope I helped you out. Passed along a little knowledge. Some of this I just learned a little while ago, as in an hour ago, and it was fun. It was fun trying to figure it out. So that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching.